Well, it's Saturday morning. Welcome to the shop. Grab your coffee because today we're going to fix a fan. Summertime here. It's getting pretty hot. It's about 25 in the shop right now. And so I've been using this fan. It works pretty good, but it's making some weird noises. Of course, now it's not doing it, but it also doesn't turn. So we're going to take it apart and see if we can fix it. Of course, there we go. Now it's starting to make noise again. Something's just not in alignment there. Got some other footage of it making a little bit more noise, but we're gonna go through it. We're gonna fix it. Shouldn't take long. And hopefully this is kind of interesting to you, because my hope from this is that if you have something broken at home, you're going to take the initiative and fix it. Today's day and age, something like this, I don't know, it's probably a $30 or $40 fan. People would say, well, it's not really worth it to fix it. I'm just gonna throw it out. But I disagree. Worth it to fix it because you're gonna figure out how it works. You're gonna, with environmental stuff as well. But not only that, it's just the ability that you can fix anything. And once you know and you can figure things out, you're off to the races. So this bottom piece just pops off. It was a pretty ingeniously designed the way it's a snap fit. So if you're into 3D printing, you probably know about snap fits. So we're just going to take the base off because that's going to make it a little bit easier, I'm thinking. So that's interesting right there. In the bottom, it does not seem to be lined up at all. So I don't know what I'm doing. I've never taken one of these apart before, but we're just going to start taking some screws out. There's a couple screws here in the bottom. Hopefully we don't break it more. I can already feel it's kind of broken, which this might be our whole problem with it not turning right here. And this might be why it's making some weird noises when it's running. Because this evidently moves, but this screw is not moving. There we go. Oh, so that's always fun. Don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's a bunch of dust and nasties in there. And now we can kind of look at how this works. Okay, well, I can see the problem. I can see why it doesn't turn. Interesting. So I'm just going to grab the camera here and show you what the problem is, and then we're going to have to figure out how to fix this bad boy. So next piece we're going to take off is this bottom piece here. That's the thing, is when you're taking stuff like this apart and you're fixing it, and why I really think you should, if you're into design or building stuff, the best way to learn how things work is by taking some stuff apart and seeing how they do things, like thinking about it, right? This is a pretty ingenious system. Got to be careful here because this was not designed to be fixed. This was designed to be throwaway. Okay, we can definitely see that. Now, how is that connected to there? That I don't know. So there's a rod here, and this is what engages and allows it to turn back and forth. How that works, I don't know. If this turns, we're gonna find out though. So we're gonna plug it in. Have this handy power bar here. I just gotta make a mount for it so it's not moving. We're gonna turn this on. We're gonna engage this button at the top. See, that makes, okay, so that's definitely the problem. So if we disengage this, that piece stops moving. We engage it, and it moves. Simple troubleshooting. Now we've got that figured out. We're gonna stop that. Unplug it just for safety. So now we know that this piece here, where it's chunked out, that is what is causing our major issue. Couple things that first come to mind when I process this. These are interesting. These are your Teflon gaskets that it rides on, so it makes it a little bit more smooth. This one actually, they we'll have to keep this in mind when we put it back together, but they have locators, which is pretty awesome. There's locators in the bottom too. There is locators in the bottom. So that makes sure that these are lined up and that these don't turn and they're nice and slippery. I feel like there's been some grease on them at some point. So our main feature is this piece is broken here. And we can see that the piece just broke right out. So, your first option might be, well, maybe we should glue it. And trust me, I'm thinking about that, but let's just see how it fits. A couple different ways that we can fix this here. So I see what I'm going to do here. Now, you could glue it, and that is an option. However, we got these washers that this fits on. We're just going to start putting this back together. So I think our best plan of action is if we can put another screw in there with maybe a washer. The trick is to be finding a screw that's small enough. So here's actually the piece. Okay. So we should have looked a little bit deeper into this. So here's actually the rest of the piece. Probably really hard to see on camera. Tiny, tiny little piece here. But, so now we can take a look at it and we can go, okay. So, oh, look at that. Kind of fits. But my worry is if I were to glue this on here, it's just going to break. There's not a whole lot of plastic there. Because it broke out, there's a whole piece of plastic base that broke out of there. Now we got to think about something. Loctite HY46DG. This stuff is great. It's kind of a combination between CA glue and an epoxy, so that'll be great to do this. What I've also done is I got a piece of, took a lock washer and I flattened it out and I'd see if it would fit into this piece here, and it will. And the reason why that's important is I need to build that up a little bit for this tiny, tiny plastic piece. And then I also found a piece of stainless steel TIG welding rod that's the right diameter to fit in here. And we're going to put this through into the other side. It's going to act like a pin. We're going to make sure we leave room for the thread so we can put that screw in there. And it's just going to give that extra rigidity when we put this whole thing back together. A simple fix. And then I'm pretty sure that these washers actually go underneath these screws. So we're going to fix that at the same time. Okay. So our first step is to take this lock washer here and we're going to epoxy it right onto here. You can 3D print these, or you can buy these. These are little mixing trays. They're really good for mixing epoxies. Really like them. This stuff is nice because it comes in a tube. You can just squeeze a little bit out and it squeezes out equal parts, or it should squeeze out equal parts, or it won't. So this, I'm going to say, has gone bad, but we might be able to make it work. Yeah, no, we won't. This is done. Pretty certain this stuff has gone bad. This is JB Marine Weld. Also been sitting in my shop for who knows how long. Oh, no, there we go. Okay, well that still works. Nice to know. I always try and keep extra popsicle sticks around. You know, if you got kids and they're eating popsicles in the summer, just keep the sticks and wash them. You can buy popsicle sticks too, but why buy it if you can get it for free? So we're going to mix that up till it's a uniform color. Oh, look at that. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. We're gonna gob some on here. And then we're gonna take this piece, a little lock washer. I'm gonna set it right there in the center. Hold it for a little bit, not too long, because I don't want this to set up before I put my other piece in there, which is fine. Okay, now I'm making a mess. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this piece. We are going to stick it in there. We'll cut it shorter once we have everything on there. Scoop some of this stuff around. And then we'll take this piece, let it sit like that. Work with what we have to get it fixed. And we're just going to let that get set up. So I want that to harden a bit before I move on to the next step. Now I'm making a mess here. We don't want to do that. Clean it before it hardens. Just make it nice and good. Good thing I'm wearing gloves. It's already getting tacky, which is awesome. All right, now let's let it sit there for 5 minutes. Okay, we let that set up, and a little bit messy, but this is going to give us that little bit extra that we need for our next step. Now we want to cut this. I was going to cut it with just side cutters, but I'm a little bit concerned. I don't want this to move that much. And if I can get the angle grinder in there, which I think I can, let's tuck that cord away so we don't create more repairs for ourselves while we do this. And the only reason I used the angle grinder for that was I didn't cut all the way through. I just wanted to make sure that I don't completely wreck anything there by moving it, because of course that epoxy is not 100% cured yet. But don't know, might turn into a bigger fix. But again, like I was saying, people stop fixing things, and I get it, we're a throwaway society. It's not just the environmental concerns to fix things. It's first of all, the satisfaction you get is awesome. And then you're learning, right? And especially if you're a designer. So I like to design lots of things, and when I look at this, I see how they have a snap fit to put that base on, right? So let's say you're designing a product and you got to think about shipping it. So this is easier to ship, doesn't need as big of a box because the base piece here comes off. Yeah, see, I like that. So that raised that up to the right level of where I need it to be. So now I'm going to take the other piece. Slide this piece on like so. I think I may have had a happy accident here, being that that epoxy wasn't completely set up. I was able to kind of squish it on and it's still hardening. So we're going to put our gloves back on, because as you can tell, when I work with epoxy, it gets everywhere. The sad part is I know it gets everywhere and I still don't take the right precautions. Don't need a whole lot this time. Okay, we got that mixed up, and then we're just going to goop it on here. We're going to make it nice and heavy. And I think I made just enough epoxy. That's epoxied up. Again, it's a 5-minute set time. Interesting thing here. So when I look in here, what it basically looks like is a bunch of cage fans that just spin around. It's kind of a neat idea. So looking at that, that's telling me there's nothing in there. It's telling me the weird noises this thing was making were almost definitely from it trying to engage and turn. We're getting pretty close to having it fixed, and I'll check in with you once this epoxy is set up, and we'll put it back together and we'll give her a test run and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I let that epoxy set up overnight. As you can tell, it's a brand new morning. And all we have to do is put this thing together and see if it actually works and makes the noise that it was making before, and hopefully it doesn't and we've fixed it. It'd be very nice if we've got it fixed. So we'll just line this up with that snap fit again. Snaps into place. All right. Okay, let's see if this works. Got that. Let's see if it actually oscillates. Well, I would say that's a win. It's oscillating. Here we go. So simple fix, and it's working like new. So the big thing that I'd ask people to take from this is, hey, you can fix stuff. And what do you have to lose? If it's not working already and you're gonna garbage it anyways, you got nothing to lose. So you might as well give it a try. Fix it, save yourself a few bucks, and learn a few things. Take a look at how things are designed. The more things you take apart and the more things you fix, the more you learn how to get better at this. Just take things apart, fix it, get out there, working. It's rewarding, working in the shop, it's fun, right? If you don't know, learn. There's YouTube videos, they don't teach you everything, but they'll give you an idea. Well, if you stuck around this long, no, it wasn't a super exciting video, but thanks for watching.